Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Simulation for the Nation, and welcome back along to Oakfield Farm, where we are just wrapping up with this big field here, where, as you can see, we're just tucking in the last of the headlands. We've just about finished up this side, and then we're going to have to head back down to the bottom and the far side, so we've still got plenty left to do, but it's folding over quite nicely now, actually. The worst of the land is definitely been covered. It was kind of in the middle here and then heading up behind those trees there. But we've got through the most severe part, and now we're just, like I say, hopefully get it all finished up in this last pass here, and then we should be done. We are going to be doing a little bit of extra work in this field. We're going to put a game crop in the corner, so we'll get around to that in a little while. So what we'll be doing there is we're going to be planting some maize, where we're going to plant it, we're going to let it go, and we're not going to touch it again. We're just going to let it grow through its maturity, and then it's going to rot away as well. And what happens is that the corn there will slowly develop, will grow, will produce, and then will drop to the floor. And primarily we do that to give the game birds in the region some cover. We'll give them some extra food when food gets a bit scarce. We'll just have to tie this one last pass up. So it'll keep them happy. So it's going to be down that far corner there, so we'll have a look at that in a little while. But I think we're just going to have to tidy up this little bit here first. Let's start there. Should be good. So how are you all doing today? Hope you're very well. Hello and welcome to a whole host of new subscribers since the last time we spoke. This is quite mind-blowing, actually. As always, as I always ask, do let me know down below where you're watching from. Yeah. Let me know what you're doing if you're on Oakfield Farm as well, and what your journey is so far. So I'd love to know that. That'd be great. Now what we're going to do here, rather than trample back over all the ploughing we've just done, we're going to scoot around the edge, and there's a track down that far side. So we'll take that down. And we're making some nice tidy progress through here. It really is coming along very well, very nicely. Let's just turn that plough over as well, so we're not raking through the hedge line. I'll end up turning around and notice I've got half of the hedge stuck to my rear furrow. But yeah, the sun has been shining here. It's already starting. There's a particularly wet bit at the bottom of the hill over there. You can't quite see through the cab, but the sun is already starting to get a bake onto that, which is nice, because what will happen is that it'll dry that out, and then if we get any, I'm hoping we'll get one more frost perhaps, which can help to break it all down as well. All that does really is when we do come to work it down to drill it, it makes it a whole lot easier. But as you can see, it is looking very nice out there right now. Took us best part of the day to get this all wrapped up, really, but we've been pushing on. We're quite proud with how we've got going, really. Let's speed up a little touch. And yeah, another couple of hours, another hour or so should see us through. These headlands don't take a great deal of time. It's usually about 5 to 6 widths with the plough, so it's not too big at all. I like to leave a little wider headland than perhaps I usually would, just to help you get a nice fluid turn, really. So that's what we aim to do. But yeah, we'll get this all wrapped up here, and then we'll take the tractor back on up to the yard. I think we might bring the case down. Well, it's got narrow wheels on, the row crops on still. We might have to find another tractor to bring down here so we can we're going to take the power harrow to the top corner where the game crop's going to be, so we'll need to get that ripped up, run it over probably twice with the power harrow, and then we can we'll roughly plant some maize into there so that can grow, and then that's it done, really. We'll leave it to its thing. We usually plant a few of those game crops around the farmland. No strategy behind it, really. We just need to plant. Typically I like to plant between 5 and 10 acres, so dotted across the whole of the farm. It's not a really big ask, and it does help the local gamekeeping around here as well, just to help keep these birds fed over the winter. Okay, so what we might do here is we're just going to keep pushing on. I'm going to let you watch how I do my headlands. Some people are interested in that kind of thing, so we'll send the drone up. We'll get these wrapped out pretty quickly, and then we'll come back and we'll get cracking with the game crop there. So stick around. We'll come back to you. Well then guys, welcome back. We're done. We got this field wrapped up apart from the bit in the corner there, but we're going to try something new for that game crop. Just checking the plough over there before we flip it over. It's filthy, but there's nothing else hanging on there. No sods or clods of stubble, so we can just jump back into the tractor. And let's just get this. Where's my... Oh, I've turned it over there. That's one step too far. And then let's fold it. There we go. And as you can see there, just at the far end, the wheels are now turning around. The land wheels have been pushed out, extended, and rotated, so they're going to become road-based wheels. And we are good to go. We'd also need to get some fuel into here pretty desperately. Gone through quite a chunk of diesel in this field. But not to worry. Can't be avoided. And away we go. Turn off my diffs. Don't need those on. Alrighty, so we're going to head on back up to the yard there. It is now... Oh, we're looking good there. It's only about 4:10 in the afternoon. So we will... we'll head on up. We're going to take the plough off. Probably give it a quick wash first. Park the plough back up there. And then we're going to put... Instead of ploughing over the game crop, I'm going to try just using the subsoiler on front of the power harrow. That should do it. That should give me enough of a turnover, really. It's going to break up that soil pan from where we've been turning on the headland for ploughing. And it's going to break down the soil, so it should work. And then, of course, we'll try that. We'll see how that comes along. And then after that, yeah, we need to give this a quick drill, really. Get some corn in the ground, and we'll be laughing. Now I don't actually own a drill that can sow maize, so we are going to have to go and borrow one. Now we might just see if we can borrow one from George down the road. I think he used to have an old one, but we need to see if he's still got it first and foremost. Because I don't actually grow my own maize for production, just this little bit now and again, so we'll have to go and see if we can steal something off him. And then, yeah, if we can, then that'll be ideal. But yeah, first of all, we'll just worry about getting this plough all cleaned up as we come back on into the yard. Everyone else has gone home for the day. It's still a little bit quiet at the moment, so they don't really need to be here right now. It's, you know, as I always say, it's best for these guys to try and get some rest now, because we're going in the next few weeks. It's going to really ramp up a bit, so we may as well jump in now, get some rest and relaxation, and then we'll be good to go when we are running around the clock, really, with our spring crops. So let's get this sprayed down. So the last of the work is going to be doing for a little while, so we'll spray it all off. We'll get these moldboards covered in grease, as I mentioned, and that should just keep it all nice and fresh looking over the next few months. And then we'll be probably bringing this out for a couple more fields as we get into the autumn properly. Okie dokie then, back into the cab we go. And we're going to sling this into the same spot we had it parked in before. Already looks twice as good. Now it's all clean. Oh, I've left my fence there. Can I get around the corner? Yes. And we're going to clip with the front. Oh, we're looking good. Okay. And then we're going to zip back around. Like I say, we're going to try with the power harrow and ripper on. That should give us enough of the seed bed here, which I do believe we got tucked into here. So let's go and have a look-see. We'll get this all hooked up. There we go. Ideal. So I'm going to get this all hooked up here, and then we'll come back to you when we're back in the action. Okie dokie, we're flying along today. That didn't take too much time at all. So there's only going to be about 5 acres down the bottom of this field to get knocked out there, so it shouldn't take us too long. Still yet to find us a sugar beet drill. I haven't got hold of George yet, but I'm sure he's got one from last time I was over there. So we'll have to have a look, see what we can find. I have every confidence in my ability to source something. It'll just be nice to get this done because then it's out of the way. Once we get the... We don't have to worry about that again until next time we come to work down the field. So not this crop, but the crop after that. So it's always good just to get this in. Ticks a few boxes on our compliance forms as well. We have to have this put in. Back in we go. It's nice and quiet today actually on the road, which is helpful. We're just going to scoot around this corner, get that speed down. And we'll just admire a little bit of ploughing here. Looking pretty darn straight, even if I do say so myself. So with the power harrow on the back here, we are using the ripper legs as I mentioned. They are on it. That's just going to say it's going to break through the pan that was created from the compaction of the sugar beet. Allow for a bit of drainage there. The corn, the maize itself will grow in pretty much everything, so it doesn't have to grow to a certain standard, it doesn't have to grow very tall, it just has to grow. If there are seeds there that'll fall to the ground, then that's even better for the birds, so there is really no expectations on this. So be pleased to get it into the ground, really. Okay, so like I said there, we've just got this little block to do, but to make sure that we get a nice even finish to it. Oh, I forgot to put diesel in as well. That was a mistake. Let's hope it doesn't take up that much time. And we'll just get this GPS set up like this. Lovely stuff. Just like that, we're away. So as you can see here, it's ripping up the soil at the front, and then we're breaking it back down, smashing it down for a nice even seed bed behind it. The organic matter from the sugar beet will do no harm at all. It'll decompose underground there and provide some extra nutrients for this growing crop. But yeah, it's really more just about offering some little help for the pheasants around here, as opposed to any profitable produce really from a farm standpoint. The local gamekeepers around here do thrive, and they do also kind of really require us to give them that little bit of help, and I don't mind helping out there. It's, you know, they do offer good services, good for the community as well, and there's a little bit of revenue there for the local estates, so that's always good. This will only take a few minutes to iron off. Not looking too bad at all. So as I was mentioning previously, we're going to leave this land that we've ploughed over here. It's going to be left open for probably 4 or 5 weeks now. Hopefully it'll break down a little bit, and when the elements break it down, it just makes it easier when you go through with a machine like a power harrow or a set of cultivators or discs. It's less effort required mechanically to work the field down, which is always advantageous. Less effort means less fuel burnt in the process, which is always very good. So we will look to do that. With it being summer as well there, we're less likely to see as much rain. I mean, I know this is still the British summertime, but we're less likely to see as much intense rainfall, which would lead to kind of soil erosion and soil loss. So, and therefore nitrification when it inevitably bleaches into a local water source. So we should see less of that. Of course, this is, like I say, British weather. You can never be too sure with what you're about to get. It's a luck of the draw thing most of the time, so we'll have to wait and kind of judge that. But we should be okay. We should be fine here. I reckon another couple of passes and we'll be good. So what I'm going to do, I need to go make a few phone calls actually, see if George is around and come help. If he is, then fantastic, we'll get this all buttoned up this evening. So I'll come back to you when we've made those few phone calls. Okay everybody, I managed to get hold of George, and he was pretty darn speedy to get down here as well. And look at the machine he's brought with him. I think it could be well said that he's overpowered here with his 135M on what looks like a very, very, very old drill. I've been reliably informed it still works, so you know he's going to have at it here and get that done. But yeah, it is, you know, we don't need anything flash or fancy, we just need to get the job done, and well, that is not flash or fancy. But yeah, we're going to leave him to it. We've just got a little bit of configuration to do. He's just calibrating a few little bits and pieces, which I shouldn't imagine needs much of a computer to do so. But right, we'll stop making fun of him, we'll let him just crack on with it, and then we need to get this back to the yard and get it filled up with diesel because it is starting to run low. And I should have filled up last time, but I didn't. So we will scoot on over there. We'll leave George in his capable hands just to get that little bit drilled up there. He squared it off a little bit, so we've got a nice little square. But that's good, and we'll get that all done, and so we'll finally be able to move on. It's nice to have this job finished. There's a big field here, all in. Took some ploughing. I timed it once. I did one length from the far end down to the very bottom end. It's about 2.5 minutes to get all the way down, which is quite a long time when you're just ploughing in straight lines. So it's nice to have that all ticked up, all tucked in as well. So we will be probably focusing on, we've got a little bit of time to wait until our spring crops are ready to go, so we might get some more fertilizer put in the grassland. We'll see how that's looking in the next couple of days. We'll need to hit that soon. But yeah, do stay tuned to see how that one comes along, how that pans out. But for now, like I say, we'll just take this back up to the yard and we'll call it a day with this. Other than that, everything is going well. There's not too much else to report at the moment. I'm very happy with how everything's come around the last few weeks. A lot of progress being made. I'd love to get some hay made soon, that would be ideal, but again, I can't rush it really. I've just got to wait to see how the grass grows out. Typically it always lands at the same time as I'm trying to get my spring cereal crops cut, so if we can get it kicked through a little earlier, that would be ideal. That really would. But for now, like I say, we'll head on back over to the yard, we'll get this parked up there, and then we'll call it a day. So thank you very much for watching as always. Really do appreciate it. For any newcomers, welcome along. Thank you for subscribing and staying tuned to Simulation for the Nation. Really does mean a lot. We will be coming back to you later on in the week with another episode from Oakfield Farm, but until that time, thank you very much. Till we see you again, do stay safe, enjoy what you're doing, but most importantly, happy farming.